Oh, yeah, here we are.
Yeah, kids.
We're just thinking of renaming this to the Existential Circus.
Yes.
It's been a bit of a circus in the background here. Sorry, we're about 30 seconds late. But, you know, we're here.
Yes, we are. We made it.
And you know what? I'm really feeling the Friday vibe today.
Oh, yeah, me too.
It's just like, I just love Fridays. I've always loved Fridays. I don't know what it is about Friday. Even though I work for myself, I've got the best boss in the world. I still like Fridays.
I've got to go home and work after this.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and I've got 2 tomorrow as well. So, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Come to think of it, I've got a few bits and pieces to do this afternoon and over the weekend.
It's still Friday. It still means it's
Friday.
coming to the end, which is good.
There's just a vibe about Friday. Maybe everybody's feeling it, and it's that collective, thank God it's Friday.
Yes. So how's everybody going?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I'm hot.
Me too. It's very hot today. Oh, God, it's really hot today.
I had a mango for lunch today because I couldn't face anything else.
Mm.
That was it. It was just the most perfect lunch to have. It was cold. It was delicious. It was juicy. The dog's here for a pat. But anyway, we haven't tuned in to talk about what I had for lunch. We've tuned in for the Existential Cuppa.
We have indeed. But that's part of the Existential Cuppa.
Well, yeah, true. So
nothing's off limits.
I might just do our usual start off into the broadcast with an acknowledgement of the beautiful country that we live on. So I'd just like to pay my respect and honour to the elders, past, present and emerging, and to give my heartfelt thanks and deepest gratitude to the Larrakia people for their generous sharing of this beautiful country that I live and work on. And I ask to do spirit work here. It's in alignment and harmony with the existing deep spiritual connection of this place, for the healing and enlightenment of all. Thank you.
You can feel it today, though, can't you?
I can. I think it's the weather.
Yeah, I do too. I was just about to say it probably is the weather.
Yeah, it's that connection is really, really strong today. Maybe because it's Friday.
Yeah, maybe because it's Friday. That's true.
And maybe the heat has kind of battered down some of our layers of defence and we're just feeling a bit vulnerable.
Mm.
And so we're now being supported by the country that we're on.
Yes.
I love it. So that's probably not a bad thing to talk about. I mean, I think the common Western perception of the earth is quite different to the perception of the earth by our First Nation people all around the world. You know, there's a definite sense from the Western economy that the earth is just here for our convenience and for us to take advantage of, basically.
Mm.
Whereas some of the traditional points of view are more about, well, I live in harmony with the earth and we are in a reciprocal kind of arrangement where I take care of the earth and the earth takes care of me.
Yeah.
Which is just that beautiful continuous flow of honour and respect. Which, my dog is here for pats and it's so hot, he's just shedding hair everywhere.
Yes, I agree. I think we need to live more in that. We need to be more mindful of that, however that means, or whatever that means for each individual person. I think we need to be more aware of that and remind ourselves of that every day in everything that we do.
And it's really easy to do.
It is, yes.
You know, it's literally as simple as walking barefoot on the earth. You don't have to do a ritualized formula. You don't have to do any prayer or meditation. You don't have to have a ritual. You just have to stand on the earth and just be.
Yeah, be mindful.
Yeah, barefoot. Because when you're barefoot, there's that beautiful exchange between you and the earth herself. Yeah. So if you're just tuning in, drop us a little comment there. Let us know where you're joining us from and if you've got a particular thing of interest to talk about today, because we both got off our high horse during the week and left the forum open and we were just waiting to see what dropped in. And, of course, the earth dropped in for me immediately, but I'm just throwing it out there. If you've got something in particular of interest that you think would make great fodder for the Existential Cuppa today, pop it in the comments. Otherwise, we might just ramble on about the earth and see where it goes.
Yeah, I think the earth is a very positive thing. I think it's too much of our world today is negative or fear-based. Too much of the things going on are negative and fear-based. And I think the earth is not like that. The earth is just about being. It's about, I suppose, consciousness at its most pure. And so, caring for the earth in whatever way we choose to do that is, I think, healing both at a mental level, emotional, spiritual level, but also at a physical level too.
Absolutely. The interesting thing is we are literally made of the elements of the earth, and we tend to not even, sometimes that doesn't even come into people's comprehension, that we're actually physically made from the earth itself. The elements in our body are the same as the elements in the earth. In fact, the composition of our body, just in relation to the water ratio, is very similar to the water ratio on the surface of the earth. There's so many synchronicities. There's no such thing as a coincidence. But,
True.
I think sometimes the disregard that we show for the planet Earth, our place of origin, shows how much lack of regard we have for ourselves as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too.
Because we forget about the terrain of our own body and take it for granted just the way we do the planet Earth.
Yeah, we do. We just take things for granted. We just rush around in our lives not being present, not being or considering the moment and what that's doing to our body, what that's doing to everything around us, how we're engaging, how we're reacting, all of those types of things. And we're left with feeling very disconnected from ourselves and from other people and from the earth, from everything. And we're floating, out there in the abyss, wondering what the hell's going on, when in fact, we've just disconnected from our lifeline, which is the earth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we need to ground ourselves back onto the earth so that we feel okay.
Yeah, and that it's not just the idea of grounding; it's the idea of being connected into the spirit of the earth as well.
But then I suppose we have to understand that we are spirit as well before
yes, we do.
Before we can actually.
I was just taking that as read.
True. Okay, fair enough.
But no, I think that's fair enough. It's a really valid point that, what are we first? Are we matter or spirit? And I think it's not a matter of being, chicken and egg. I think we're both chicken and egg.
Yeah.
We're both matter and spirit. And so is the earth.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
Yeah. But just to get back to your point about disconnection, I think this is actually the source of all disease and dysfunction in our world today, is the level of disconnection.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too.
And
I'm agreeing with a lot today, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. I've obviously hit a really good. Mind you, we don't normally disagree.
That's true. We don't.
Yeah,
no, we don't.
But
I agree with that too.
One of the most powerful and easy forms of healing that you can give yourself is simply getting back in touch with the ground.
Yeah,
just literally putting your feet on the earth.
Yeah,
I think I said ages ago.
Walking outside.
Yep.
Breathing the air and just connecting.
And like I said, you don't have to make a big deal of it. It's just the physical contact with the earth itself is enough as a starting point.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a whole lot of, electrochemical stuff that goes on with the body once it's in contact with the earth. That literal grounding, for instance, happens, releasing all that static electricity and rebalancing the way you're supposed to be balanced in relation to your electromagnetic field, all of that sort of stuff. But over and above that, it's just you're being nourished and supported by the spirit within the earth that nourishes and supports life on earth.
Yes.
And we forget that.
And I can imagine up here in Darwin, it's a lot easier to get out in bare feet than it is, somewhere where it's a little colder. Yeah. And it's a lot it's much easier for us to be less clothed than other people as well. And, you know, we've got a lot more sunshine up here and things like that. So, but in saying all of that, I do think that, you know, we're perhaps a little more mindful of the sun. And so we're always looking for the shade. But everywhere on earth we can go and put our feet on the earth, even if it's just for a minute or two in the freezing cold. Just so we can reconnect, so that, you know, we feel grounded and energized by what the earth offers us and what we offer it, and we can do that at any point. I always find when I go down south in the middle of winter, I still need to do that. I still need to go out in bare feet and just, you know, put my feet on the earth, or even just touch a tree, you know, give a tree a hug if it's too cold to
take your shoes off.
To take your shoes off because you feel the cold too much. Then that's
and that's, you know, I think that's valid. People who live in snowy countries, I would not like to be walking around bare feet.
No, that'd be
in the snow.
A little bit cold.
That would be,
But I think certainly, you know, we all have the option anywhere we live to be able to do that. Perhaps, you know, except for people on, you know, up in the sky, you know, on a space station or whatnot.
Now they're really disconnected, aren't they?
They are indeed.
I wonder what their practice is, if they have a practice coming back to Earth.
Oh, I'd say they probably would.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you've been out there floating around for a bit, your muscles don't work as well.
No,
so you kind of have to
lose bone density and all that sort of stuff.
So you have to kind of be reacclimatized to the.
Maybe we could get an astronaut onto the Existential Cuppa one day and ask them.
They could tell us.
That would be so cool. Can you imagine? That'd be really cool.
I also think one of the big things that the earth does for us is it negates, or it lessens the fear that we feel in relation to what's going on around us in our lives individually and as a whole, as a collective. You know, being in connection with the earth and nature gives us that capacity to manage or regulate our physical responses.
Especially if you're choosing to just be.
Yes.
You know, it's quite a different experience to just be on the earth, as opposed to maybe, say, bushwalking or going for a swim in the natural waters, or, you know, actually doing some sort of activity. I think the idea of just being in stillness on the earth and allowing the activity and the energy of the earth to guide your senses is a really powerful experience of being present.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's a really good reference point, I think, for that practice of present moment.
Yeah.
Because you can feel how it feels really distinctly. You know, if you're struggling to do that inside, then doing it outside, we tend to be able to do it much more efficiently.
Yeah.
Much more effectively.
You know, it's really interesting. When I was at uni, I used to dread, there was a particular tutorial I used to dread going to, and it was one of my communication tutorials, and I just really, really hated it. And then one day the tutor decided to take us outside. I actually participated in that tutorial. I was so relaxed and open and able to engage in the debate that was going on and, you know, put forward valid, coherent arguments simply because it was outside.
Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
It is. It is definitely. I think one day when the Existential Cuppa is happening and it's we're getting a huge, you know, monsoon or downpour, we should go outside and do it.
Oh, in the rain.
Yes.
I'm not taking my laptop out in the rain.
Oh no, but just perhaps out, you know, under
out
cover.
on the veranda.
Yeah.
Oh, right, not
under
out
cover,
in the rain.
But we can be outside with the rain
and yelling,
yeah,
so you can hear us over the rain.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I understand that everybody,
experience.
I understand everybody down south is having quite a bit of rain.
Are they?
Yes. Let me just say, you're taking ours. So give it back.
Yeah, we need it. It's hot. It's so hot. Yeah, look, I have to say I've been in my little X-News bubble this week. So I really don't know about the weather down south. I don't know about a lot of the stuff going on down south.
No, Adelaide was due to have big storms yesterday.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. And it was moving across to the east coast.
Mind you, I did notice a lot of water flowing through the centre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
must be lovely for them to have the Todd River running
Yeah.
in Alice. That must be amazing.
Yeah.
The energy down there would be fantastic.
Can you just imagine? And in fact, I think I saw some footage earlier in the week, probably on Facebook because I wasn't watching the news, of water running down the rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ullaru's been getting quite a bit too. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I've been in
country.
Alice Springs when the Todd was running once, and that was pretty amazing. That was, the energy there was phenomenal. It has really good energy. Anyway, if we take out the social issues, which are, you know, everybody's doing their best to work on, but the energy there, the convergence there is pretty amazing. And when the Todd runs,
some thoughts about the social issue there. I mean, you know, there's a school of thought that Uluru is actually it's currently sitting as the Earth's heart chakra.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we were to look at it from that perspective and then see what, you know, the federal government has been allowing happen there, which is, you know, a tourism operation that up until very recently let people from all over the world just climb to the top of Uluru, you know, which we all know is a really sacred place for our First Nation people.
Yeah. Well, it is for all of us, I think.
But exactly, it is for all of us, because also apparently it, you know, my understanding of the chakras of the earth is quite limited. But apparently, at the moment, the Earth's heart chakra is located there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which it makes so much sense why there's, you know, a fair amount of social disruption in Australia's centre, because, you know, we're trampling over some very sacred, powerful yet gentle energies with total disregard. It's like jackboots stomping on babies. It's just, it's a horrible,
it is
horrible sensation. Yeah, so I mean, if anybody watching has got information about earth chakras, I'd love to know more.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting.
You know,
to know.
It's
interesting to plot where they are, and work out what's going on around those things around the world.
Yeah.
That would be really, and see whether we could draw any conclusions.
Yeah, and I would really like to know from, you know, an Indigenous perspective what that concept is for them, and if that is something that's relevant, or even applicable. Yeah,
I think that would be really interesting.
And whether that's something that we as white people are actually eligible to receive that sort of knowledge.
Yeah, having been born up here and grown up here, I feel a connection to the environment in which I grew up in, which is the Jarwin area, the Catherine area. And every time I leave that area, I cry.
Yeah.
I can remember leaving Kakadu with my girls when they were younger, and I cried because I could feel myself leaving the energy.
You know, I came up here for a holiday in 1989, and when I left, I bawled my eyes out. It was like I was leaving my home. And look at that, here I am 30 years later.
Well, I can remember coming back, you know, the 5th of November, 2003, and, you know, walking down the stairs of the plane, you know, across the tarmac.
Yeah, because it was still on the tarmac then.
Yeah, humid, and jet fuel. Took a big breath in, had my 4-year-old daughter on my hand. My dad was waiting for me, took a big breath in and realised I was home.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting how certain places that your spirit is drawn to really feels that connection. I certainly feel that here. I used to feel that in Cairns. That's where I was born. But I don't know, maybe it's because I've had so many years away. I don't feel that anymore, but I certainly, I really felt it the first time I came to Darwin, and then I had to leave and go back to Sydney. Yuck.
Well, I was away for 17 years plus 5 years of boarding school, and I still felt it when I came back. So I think it's the place, and you don't have to be born there to feel it. I think it's, you know, that's part of the energy or the magic of wherever we live, and how we resonate with that.
And, you know, each location has this own upwelling,
Yes.
I guess, of Earth Spirit that has, different frequencies and flavors, if you like,
Yeah.
that will call to different soul lights.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
yeah, if we get our bare feet back on the ground, we'll find our home.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. We'll do that. That's
Yeah.
a really good point. I think we'll definitely find our home by doing that.
Yeah.
And I think the connection is, we all have it somewhere. We just have to find it. I wonder whether this is why so many people have been so frustrated over the last few years with borders being closed, not being able to travel, not being able to go in search of that, whether they were conscious of it or not, to find that place.
Yeah.
For what, where they feel at home, where it matters for them. I lived in Adelaide for a long, long time, and I always felt like, yeah, I'm okay in Adelaide. But I didn't realise that I actually was just a visitor, even though I lived there for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
I was a visitor. I didn't belong there, that where I belonged.
Yeah.
Whereas up here, I do belong. I know how it functions. I know how people think. I know how people feel. I know how I was. One of the questions on my intake form is, how long have you lived in Darwin, or how long have you lived in the Northern Territory for? So you can see how people feel, think, and react depending on how long they've lived here and how much they understand what it's like up here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an amazing place to live. It's so diverse. It's so it's so open-minded, and we're so accepting.
Yeah. When I first moved up here, I came for 2 years, and here I am 30 years later, 4 kids later, completely different career, completely different husband, all that sort of stuff. I think Darwin really sorts the wheat chaff, but that's a really it's a recurring theme that you hear from a lot of people in Darwin, that they come up here for 2 years, and for some people that 2 years is fulfilled and they go back to wherever they came from. And for others, it's sort of like you need that 2 years for Darwin to go, yeah, you're welcome to stay.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the people, the community or whatever. It's the vibe, it's the energy, it's whatever the spirit here in Darwin is that says, yeah, we're compatible.
It's surviving a build-up.
Oh, it's surviving the build-up too.
And
what's your resilience to build-up weather? You should see my aircon bill this year. My God. I don't normally have the aircon on during the day, but this year, oh my goodness.
It's been tough.
Yeah.
It's been very tough this year. Which is interesting, because I don't think the temperatures per se actually recognise or acknowledge how much worse it's been this year. And even when you look at the temperatures and you look at the humidity, even that doesn't gauge how much hotter it is, or it has been this year. And this comes back, I think we need to be mindful of our earth, our planet. We need to be mindful of that, because we're seeing it up here. We saw it.
Are you talking climate change?
I am.
Okay.
I've been thinking about this a lot, and the fires, the floods, and then everything got lost in COVID. And then there's all the hoo-ha about Glasgow. And, there's just so much fear around all of those things. And I can understand that, some people's jobs will be affected. And that's, for them, that's quite confronting, and that's quite scary. And that's something that, we have to work out how we can minimize that and help those people that are displaced. But we do need to do something for everybody, for the whole world. We do need to do something.
Yeah.
I don't like them necessarily having a go at us all the time, as though Australia is the only one not doing anything. But I do think that we have a responsibility to ourselves and to the world and to the planet and all the people that live on it to do something. And we are noticing it, that even though, on the news the temperatures pretty much are consistent, the humidity is, fairly much the same, but the heat is just worse.
Mm-hmm.
It is just worse.
Especially when you consider we actually had a heat wave, was it last week or the week before?
It was the week
No,
before.
they were saying it's a heat wave. I'm like, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You're right. It is. It's hot.
It is very, yeah. But then I suppose that this period of time for us, which is probably the worst time or the worst weather, is like the winter down south, really, wouldn't you say? Like those 3 months of really bad weather in the winter.
What, character testing stuff?
Yes, very character testing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this kind of gets onto what we were going to talk about last week. It really is looking at what the cycles of change are around us and how we respond to that change. Initially we were talking about the cycle of seasons that are recognized in the different tribal areas up here.
The different, yeah.
Yeah, whereas we talk about wet season, dry season and build up. But, realistically, I think I could be misremembering this, but I think from memory in the Larrakia calendar, there's like 6 or 7 seasons. Yeah.
And if you think about them, you can actually see them. You can actually see the changes, and
you can feel it.
Yeah,
if you slow down enough.
Yeah, that's right. If you slow down enough, catch your breath, and go, oh yeah, okay, now we're in the Knock'em Downs, or now we're in this, or now we're in that. I got my husband to find the Larrakia one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got that.
Oh, cool.
So maybe I can show that to you next week.
Yeah.
But I'm sure every Aboriginal group
absolutely
has a better understanding of the weather in their region
because
than
of their
us white
relationship
people.
with the land
with
and
the
their
country.
understanding of how it operates.
Absolutely.
We just think it operates the way we tell it to.
Yeah.
Like, I love it, It's the first day of the wet season. Come on, where's the rain?
Yeah. Come on. Put your watch on, rain. What's going on?
It's not the wet season. It's the build-up.
Well, I would say.
But even within that, it's not necessarily.
I'd like to see a jellyfish that wears a watch. They say don't swim between October, 1st of October and the 1st of May. How does a jellyfish know when it's the 1st of October?
Yeah, well, and, I think if you spoke to marine biologists, they'd just say don't go in the water.
Yeah.
Especially in Darwin.
Just don't do it.
And it's not just the jellyfish.
No, it's all the other bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think we're far too linear and far too rigid. I think the Aboriginal way of doing things is actually much, much more breathable. It's much more.
Well, it's natural.
Yeah, it is.
It's in sync with the place they live in.
Yeah.
It's not trying to make the place work to a particular concept of how things are supposed to work. I mean, we've imported farming techniques from a country that it's completely climately, the direct opposite of us, but we've imported our farming techniques from there and imposed them here, and then, totally ravaged the land trying to make it work.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, high horse is back.
Just went out for a drink, that's all.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that's a big deal. I think we need to stop thinking that they need to learn from us, and we perhaps need to learn from them. And we could live better, and we could live less stressed, and we could live happier, more relaxed, more productive lives and healthier lives if we looked at the Aboriginal groups that live in our communities and live in the environment in which we live in, no matter where we live.
Yeah.
In
Absolutely.
Australia. I think that's a really important thing to do.
And, I think people are actually starting to take notice, and it took, absolute catastrophe and devastation of the fires to really bring that home. Now we're starting to tap into the wisdom of the elders and look at fire management strategies from caring for country point of view, as opposed to let's make the country do what we want it to
do. Yeah. And perhaps, that's what we need to stop doing. And it's not that we throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's not that we don't, still want to function in the lives we've manifested for ourselves or any of that kind of stuff, but our awareness or our consciousness is more settled in that more Indigenous perspective, and that we flow better because of that. And so then the way that we manifest, or the way that we make things happen, is in a much more gentler, much more efficient, much more nurturing way, both for us and other people and the earth.
And you know, the interesting thing about what you said there for manifestation, it will happen so much more easily and quickly because you are in flow.
Yes.
You know, you're not in a form of resistance and trying to be in a place of control.
Hi, Adair.
Oh, hello. Oh, I've got my reading glasses on, but it's not helping. Hi, Adair. Thank you so much for finding us this afternoon. We've been having a free-ranging conversation that has touched on climate change,
Yes,
earth spirit, Indigenous knowledge of caring for country. What else have we talked about? Oh, manifesting. You came in on the manifesting stuff. Yeah, it's been a hell of a a lot of complaining about the build up too. It's really hot and my aircon's really struggling.
It is. It's really, really hot. Yeah. Very hot. It's the only word to describe it, unless we start using other verbs which aren't quite so appropriate.
Yes. So Adair, you're probably feeling quite smug. No, you wouldn't be smug on your lovely boat alongside Coochie-Mudlo Island. You missed most of the live. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. You're a busy lady. Thank you. If you do catch the replay, I'd love to hear your point of view on some of the stuff that we've talked about this afternoon. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you'd get a nice sea breeze on the boat, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Except for when the breeze really picks up. That wouldn't be so nice. I think I'd get seasick.
Just a big, strong anchor.
What's this? Sorry, smug? Oh, it's humid. Don't talk to me about humid. Sounds interesting. Oh, that's good. Yes. And you have a sea breeze. Yeah, look, when we have the sea breeze blowing here, even on the hottest days, it's really nice, but
it is.
It does drop off.
And it does make a difference here because we have lots of quartz underneath us, so that even just a small change in, atmospheric pressure or energetic awareness, or there's a small shift here in Darwin, you can feel it because of the quartz is amplifying it, and that makes a big difference too, I think. So we can feel those shifts really quickly, but we're just not getting a lot of them lately.
That's really interesting. So when you talk about the quartz, is it like a layer that's in deep in the earth, or is it close to the surface, or what's your understanding of that?
My understanding is that it's not right at the surface, but it's probably one of the second or third layers down. But it has quite a resonance, and so we can feel that shift quite quickly. And I think having grown up in this kind of environment where there's lots of it around, and you become very sensitive to it. So even when I lived down south, I became very sensitive to the weather changes, and that didn't necessarily mean a sore knee or anything like that. I could feel when the rain was going to come before I could even smell it, and I could then smell it before most other people knew it was coming, because you get used to that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just we're used to living on that quartz, and that amplifies those things.
Okay.
So it can, but in saying that, when it's really, really hot and miserable and everyone's cranky and tired and worn out and whatever,
we get that too.
We get high nuts. Everyone goes a bit mad.
That's why it's tropo season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adair was just saying there's quartz in Adelaide as well.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also the largest satanic cult too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In the city of churches?
Up in the hills, just outside the churches.
Well, I never knew that. Thank you.
I was just to laugh about that.
Yeah, Adair is a long-time Adelaide resident. You're actually an Adelaide girl, born and bred, aren't you, Adair, or South Australia? I can't remember. So, you're telling her news. Is that like up in the winery area? Or is
Stirling?
Oh, okay. Yeah, look, I have no idea where that is.
Up in the Adelaide Hills.
Born in rural SA.
Rural. You're safe.
So what's this? That's interesting. Probably why it's so dull in energy there for me now. Yeah, probably.
I struggle with the energy too, but I also think it's very parochial.
Oops. I think I need new glasses. I can't see. Haha, whispers so no one hears.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've got to do it.
Yeah, no, I find it really difficult. I used to love it because of the changes in the seasons. Coming from up here,
Yeah.
and typical white person thinking, 2 seasons, wet, dry, and all hot. I love the change in seasons. I love the soft flowers. I love the gardens. It was all really, really different. I loved it all. And moved up to the Adelaide Hills, and that was even more lovely because you got drizzly rain and fog and, all the things you rarely get here. I know we get fog here sometimes, but not
Get
the same.
steam too.
Yeah, but not the same way as you do down there. And I still love that. I really do. But I did struggle a little bit with their perspective. Our perspectives are very different.
Yes, I think that's a really key. What do you think contributes to that, Adair? I'll give you 10 minutes to type your answer in. Very parochial.
Yeah, I would agree. And I'm very glad that you say that because I'm very careful what I say because my husband comes from Adelaide and his family still live there and all of that. But I found them, compared to us up here, they're very parochial. We were friends with everybody in Catherine. Didn't matter who you were, how much money you had, where you came from, what job you did, what car you drive. It just mattered that you were a good person and everybody, worked together to try and get on. And I found Adelaide is very much not like that and much more parochial. And I always wondered if it was the free settlers. There were no convicts.
I think it's the weather. No, seriously. The warmer it is.
Yeah, old boys club. I agree. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was the other thing. Very big pedophile ring in South Australia too. But I think we probably have one just as large up here.
Look, I think, unfortunately, there are large rings everywhere.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I will say that Adelaide Hills wine is amazing. I will say that. Their beaches are beautiful and they have a really, really nice food scene.
All that lovely fresh produce.
Oh, absolutely. And the central markets,
Tasmania's got that going for it, but it's too damn cold.
Yeah. The central markets are my husband's spiritual home.
So it is new to Coochie, 5 years. You've been there 5 years. Wow. And feel more welcome than a lifetime in SA. Yeah, you found we were actually talking a little earlier before you got on, Adair, about the quality of the energy that comes out of the place of the earth, and that, there's different qualities of frequency and almost like flavor of a place. And sometimes it takes a little while to actually find the place that resonates with your energy. So it sounds like for you, where you are now is the place.
Ley lines.
Yeah, that too. Hey, there's another.
Yeah, because there's a ley line running through Darwin.
Yeah. We were actually talking about earth chakras as well. So, ley lines and earth chakras. Maybe we can investigate that for a later date.
Yeah, I think for a later date, that would be a good thing.
My soul is here and has been for a long time. Yeah. I'm just agreeing.
Yeah, I agree, definitely.
Yep, I said the same thing earlier when I arrived here in 1989 and then I had to leave. It was like my heart was breaking.
Yeah.
I had to go back to Sydney. It was awful.
I wonder whether it's also about the fact that we can choose this, that we can actually choose to be here, whereas where we're born and where we grew up, we don't really have a choice about that. Whereas when we choose a place, we're actually choosing that because of how we feel about it. Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky that I was born here. I was born in the Northern Territory, and I always felt like it was my home. I just needed to go away to discover how much of my home it was.
I think that's a yes, please, to the ley lines and the earth chakras.
Yeah. I
haven't got enough to do.
No, that's okay. Just it won't be next week though.
No, we will look into it. Because we were actually saying earlier, I don't really know very much about earth chakras.
Yeah, so we need to kind of have a look and work it out.
It's certainly interesting.
It is, and also tracing your ley line from where culturally you're from. So for me, I'm culturally from England and Ireland. That group of people. is where I'm from. So tracing the ley lines back here will be an interesting thing, because there is a link between that, very much so.
Yeah.
And there's another interesting thing, and I don't know if this is true or not. It was just something that I heard, and that is that the fault lines on the Earth are the most powerful ley lines. So where the cross, where we've got the tectonic plates, that's actually the
sorry, I missed it. I was reading Adair's comment.
the strongest ley lines. So the strongest ley lines are where the
faults.
Yeah, where the faults are on the crust of the Earth. Yeah, I mean, that's what I've heard with some of the reading I've done, but I don't actually know if that's true or not.
Interesting.
So
yeah,
indeed,
there's so much scope for exploration. Yeah, I find the same level of mystery and invitation about the body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of surface dwellers on the body too, much the same as we are on the Earth.
And I also think that choice plays a really big part in what we do. So when we can choose what we can do, or choose where we want to live, or choose how we want to feel, or choose our choice to be vaccinated or not, all of these things. When we choose,
You're just whispering again.
We do better. Yes, I was whispering then too. We do better. We definitely do better. So we are taking responsibility for ourselves. We're taking responsibility for our environment, and we actually then function in a much better flow, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I mean, that again, it comes down to the level of resistance. If you've chosen something, then you're not doing it out of obligation or a feeling of being forced against your will.
Yeah.
Like having to go to work every day from 8 till 4:21, regardless of anything else.
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah, I think,
8 till 4:21. Yeah, whispers again. Yeah.
But yeah, I think, and one of the things that, all the things going on environmentally for us currently in the world, I think choice is fundamental. Choice is a really fundamental thing, and we need to be able to choose successfully for ourselves. Even if we do choose to do something that perhaps we may not have chosen to do right away, we need to know it's okay for us to do that, and we need to be confident and comfortable in how we do that, and what it means for us to do it, and then go about doing whatever it is we choose to do. But we forget, and we think that we have to comply all the time.
Yeah. I saw a headline today, no vax, no voucher. So NT tourist vouchers for locals. Yeah. Visiting a nursing home. Oh, wow. That's tough, isn't it? That's really tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I think, but on the idea of choice, a lot of people, and I know I was certainly like this in my early mum years with young children, I really didn't feel like I had much choice. I was really locked into a particular way of being, and I had very limited understanding at that point in my life of what capability I actually had to make change, because I thought I had to live this way.
Yeah.
I thought that this was how you are successful, by doing it like this. And I didn't enjoy a moment of it.
Which is really kind of sad, isn't it, that we do that because we don't know any different, because we've been conditioned. So it comes all the way back to how we've been conditioned and how our parents have been conditioned, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, blah, 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 all the way back down. Stepping out of that, feeling confident enough to do that. All I can say is thank God for menopause. That's all I can say.
Why is that? Because we become grumpy old women?
No, because we step into our power and go, I'm not doing that anymore.
I want to speak to the manager now.
And I don't care who you think you are.
What's this one? Motherhood. Yeah, yes. Exactly, Adair. That's the story I shared in that book.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't give a rat's. Yep.
No, we don't. We stop. And we stop being afraid as well. I think that's the other thing too, is stop being afraid. We're not afraid of anything anymore.
Is it afraid of anything, or we're not afraid of what people think of us?
I think it's both, though. I think
Yeah.
it just depends on where you're at. You know, I learned through my oldest daughter's teenage years not to be afraid of anybody in a place of power anymore. You know, so I don't have a problem standing up to doctors or anybody else and going, hey, actually, this is not okay, or no, this is, you know, we've got to do something, or think about this differently, or whatever. I think it's also about, you know, being more comfortable in our own skin. And I'm sad that it takes us so long to get to that point where we go, yeah, now I'm comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah, a lot of that's to do with conditioning.
Well, it is all to
You know,
do.
we're conditioned from the moment we're born, particularly as women, that this is how good girls behave. And they don't argue back is one of them.
True.
They don't, you know, they're more concerned about other people's feelings than they are about their own.
Yeah.
All of that. But, you know, that's a conversation for another day. But Adair's raised a point here about wanting to talk more about fear.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really powerful conversation, but also deserves a focused attention.
I think so too.
A day too.
But I would say, just, you know, in terms of fear, you know, we can embrace, we can step into it, and we can embrace it, and we can live in it, and we can feel it all of the time, or we can step out of it and we can stay present and conscious and practice those things and observe it. Because, I mean, fear's there to help protect us. It's part of our psyche in relation to
absolutely
not letting a saber-toothed tiger eat us.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So it's an important part, but it overwhelms us, and that's because our fight flight is on all of the time.
Yeah,
and it's running all of the time. So we're always constantly aware of what's going on around us.
And I think, you know, that brings us back to the really powerful point that you know, we do mindfulness, we do meditation, but it's not, you know, it's not enough to just bookend your days with these things. You then need to bring that skill that you're building into your day, so that when you are in fear, instead of going into stress response, you're able to go space.
Yeah.
I'm in the moment. Now I have choice. I can choose to be in fear, or I can choose something else.
And fear is about the future. You know, fear is about the future. So when we're feeling the fear, we're actually in the future. We've moved away from the present moment. So as soon as we step out of it and we recognize that we feel fearful, we've actually come back to the present moment, and that helps. But I agree. I think fear is a much, much bigger topic that we need to have a chat about.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really do.
And, you know, Adair's talking specifically here about losing choice in regard to health, body and freedoms.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think we might pull those themes out and have a bit more in-depth look at that. And the other thing that Adair is saying, I refuse to feel it, stepping out of it by grounding, connecting to the deepest earth chakra, and surrounding myself with fabulous ladies like us.
Of course.
Thank you, Adair. Yeah, look, they're really powerful practices, and I think, you know, it's a case of being true to yourself in spite of the incredible community pressure that people are placing on each other at the moment to conform to a particular way of understanding what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. The segregation that's occurring
it's frightening, actually.
Yeah. It is very frightening.
Yep, awareness is everything.
Yeah, it very much is.
Breathing, root chakra.
Yeah.
And no coffee.
And clear, and being clear. Have the clarity of where you sit in all of it, I think.
Yeah.
And know that the choices that you're making are the right choices for you, not because they're being thrust upon you.
Yeah.
And if they're being thrust upon you and you can reconcile them and go, yeah, that's okay for me, I can do that, then that's fine. But if you can't, then, you know, we need to ask ourselves, well, what is really important to us? What really does matter? You know, and that's the truth of it. And make changes based on that. I mean, fear is insidious, and it's always with us, you know, because of the way our society lives and the way women are made to feel in our society.
Yep. Yep, we definitely need to have a separate discussion.
We do.
Yep. Separate discussion on fear. Will we do that next week?
Yeah. And
in the meantime, we'll get ourselves a bit more clued up on earth chakras and ley lines.
Yes. Nothing. We control nothing. It's an illusion.
What can we control?
It's all an
our
illusion.
choice.
But even that's an illusion.
We can control being present,
Yeah.
or being in the future worry, or in the past regret, or we can just be now.
Yeah.
That's the extent of it, really.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But as spiritual beings in a physical body, we need to recognize that control is an illusion, and that to function in our world today, in this reality, yes, we feel control is something that we would measure as important, but in the reality of the universe, it's not. And so flow is more important.
The only thing that you can guarantee is change.
Yes. Isn't that wonderful? Change is going to happen whether we like it or not.
And so we may as well like it.
Yeah.
May as well choose the changes that we want.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I suppose being in control of that is a really good thing.
Yeah. So, really, your attitude is probably the only thing you can control.
Yeah.
Your attitude towards it. Yeah. But no, that's. I won't say what I was going to say, because I think that will open up.
I think
more.
Always look for the silver lining in everything we do. My granny always used to say to me, bad things happen, but look for the silver lining. Very cliched, I know, but true. So just hunt around in the dark for those silver linings.
Yep. We are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Indeed we are.
Yes, indeed. And the more we remember that, the more peaceful it is.
It is, isn't it? That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we might have talked free range long enough today.
I think so too. What time is that?
We have had a really interesting discussion about all sorts of things.
Yes.
But Adair, will take up your suggestion about fear, and particularly,
ley lines.
Sorry?
And ley lines.
And ley lines. Yeah, but we'll come back to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll do fear next week.
Next week, I think we'll talk about fear, particularly as it relates to personal freedom.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good thing. Let's see how that wanders off.
Yeah, see how it wanders off. I know. Where did we start? Oh, my goodness. I don't know I can't even remember. Yeah. So thank you so much, Adair, particularly for your company today and your input. And yes, I think Earth Chakras. Now, if there's anybody listening in at the moment, or catching the replay, and you've got the dirt, literally, on Earth Chakras, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you've got any other ideas about things you'd like us to talk about,
then let us know. That'd be awesome. So thank you very much for your company this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, if you're up to Friday already.
Indeed.
Like we are.
And your weekend.
And your weekend. And tune in again same time next week, unless something unforeseen happens, which sometimes it does.
It does in our world.
It does. Yeah, but I'm sure it won't.
No, we're going to be positive here. Silver lining.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for your company.
Guys.
We'll see you next time. Ciao.
See ya.